who doesn't love a good Christmas picture book? But there's fun like that in chapter books for Christmas too. So today, we're going to talk about, if you're new here, welcome, I'm Tricia, and I'm in the midst of a 12 days of Planning for Homeschool Christmas series. Playlist link will be down there. Each day, we are talking about different ways that are easy to do, easy to implement, ideas for planning out some Christmas fun in your homeschool. Now, before we get into my choices or my recommendations, I want to know what your favorite Christmas book is. Picture book, storybook, mom book, cookbook, whatever. Leave it down there. I have 2 rules for December. 1 is that we only read Christmas stuff. And 2, I don't care what it is, Christmas board books, catalogs, cookbooks, chapter books, picture books, whatever, as long as it's Christmas. We want our kids to just experience that pleasure of reading. And this is one of those ways that I hope that I'm curating that love of just the pleasure of reading, whatever level you're reading it. And I hope I'm making some nostalgic memories as my kids go back to the same picture books over and over that they've read for a decade. I'm sneaking one in because this is not a chapter book, but it's of that level, and I think it's worth it. It's called Horrible Histories, Horrible Christmas by Horrible Histories. And if you've ever read the other video or the other books in the series or watched the videos, you know what you're getting. Like, it's weird stuff to me. I don't enjoy these, but my kids, my boys especially, we love them. There's a section on foul food and daft data and funeral frankincense and the history of that, and there's timelines and there's history, and the graphics are just what you would expect from Horrible Histories. If you've never encountered this series before, they are enticing, they're engaging. They're not my cup of tea. And I don't think they would have been when I was a kid either, but my boys really like them. So this book, I had to buy it like from a thrift store last year online. So you may have some trouble finding it, but it's worth it. Now on to the actual chapter books. So the first one I'm going to recommend to you is called Santa Claus. I would say it's kind of reminiscent of the Santa Claus movies in that it's a story about a family who's involved in the Santa Claus business. It is obviously a book that if you have a child who believes in Santa, you may not want to read it with them yet or have them read it. May want to wait a little bit, another season or 2. But it's good, it's easy. It's about a third, the Lexile is 680, so it's about a third-ish grade reading level. But again, I don't worry about reading level in December at all. It is whatever people want to read. So it is a short book. It's 72 pages. So it's short, it's easy to read, it's funny, it's a little bit of nostalgia, warm, cozy Santa feelings. It's a different recommendation. Now, speaking of nostalgia, warm, cozy feelings, next up for you is The Little House Christmas. These are the holiday stories from the different books, all compiled into one bigger book. Each one is 4, 5, 6 pages long, a couple illustrations, not a lot. It would be a fantastic read aloud if you've got the right mix of kiddos. Let's see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different stories. So this one I think it's one that you could definitely read year after year. You don't have to read all of it. In one season, you can pick out 1 or 2 to read each year type of thing, however you want to do it. The point is just to enjoy what you're reading, read something cozy, and come back to it. The next one is a read aloud recommendation for you, and it is called Letters from Father Christmas. And this one's pretty unique because J.R.R. Tolkien, I always mix up his name, author of Lord of the Rings, these are the letters that he actually wrote to his children as Father Christmas. So every year he would write the letter, include some illustrations, and it was directed to his children. But now it's a collection, and they are so fantastic. They're not very long, but because it is written many years ago, some of the language can be a little harder to read. And that's why I think it's a great read aloud, especially between that and the illustrations. I just think it's just a fantastic book of like the magic of a father pretending to write from Santa, and the year after year, and knowing little bits about the children, like inserting those little things into the letter, and how magical that must have been as a child to get this letter and wonder like how did Santa, or how did Father Christmas know this? I think it's just such a fantastic choice, and it's definitely one that can be, it's repeatable, easily repeatable. I'm not sure I would say this one is necessarily easily repeatable, except in that way of like wanting to read something familiar. These two I would definitely say are, as well as Letters from Father Christmas. Now the next one is one that I have not read yet, but it's on my list for this year, and it's gotten fantastic reviews, and it's called The Vanderbeeks on 141st Street. It is about a family of, I think there's 7 of them, set in New York City. Right before Christmas, their landlord decides not to renew their lease, and then together they have to figure out what's going to happen. I think there are 7 books in the series now, and this is the first one. And I'm looking forward to reading a book about a big family, because it's not always the common, so I like that. New York City in Christmas in December, love that. I love the idea of like the teamwork aspect of family and that modeling, and yeah, it sounds good. I am going to do this one as an audiobook. And then we have The House Without a Christmas Tree. Oh, and I should say the Vanderbeeks one is at 8-10 Lexile, so 6th grade, the 6th being on 7th grade. But again, I don't emphasize that. And then we've got The House Without a Christmas Tree. This one is at about a 5th grade level, but it stars a 10-year-old girl. So if you've got a kiddo in that 9 to 12 range, especially, this is going to be a great choice for them. It is short. It's, let's see, 87 pages. So it's another one that's easy to read, short to read during the month of December. Some of you may know this one because it was a made-for-TV movie back in the 70s. And it's set just after World War II, 1946, I think, or 47. It's about a little girl named Addie who lives with her father and her grandmother. And as the title gives you a hint, she's never had a Christmas tree. And through the story, we find out why. And when she wins one, we find out what happens from that and how the family reacts. So I'm not going to give you any more spoilers than that. But this one is absolutely a fantastic read. It is easy to repeat. If you want to try and track down the movie, good luck. But I think it would be worth it in that 1970s movie kind of way. And a bonus, my very favorite Christmas chapter book, and one I think everyone should read, or preferably listen to, because I think the audio is better. Go click on the video on your screen and find out what it is. I'll see you over there.